are joined today by Stacie Rene. She is going to talk to us a little bit about the overutilization of the phrase "I'm sorry." Welcome to the show, Stacie.
Hi, thank you so much. Great to be here.
So, looking at the phrase "I'm sorry," how many different perspectives do you think can be taken out of that phrase?
Well, I think there's quite a few. You know, if you are at the grocery store and a cashier breaks an egg or does something, you say, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then if the waiter at a restaurant brings you something different than what you ordered, you're like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Or if something happens, like we're always apologizing. And so, no matter what the case is, there's definitely an overutilization of saying that word. And a lot of times now it goes in one ear and out the other. It's kind of like, "Hi, good morning, how are you?" And you expect that, "Good, how are you?" It's like that standard, greeting. And it's like, what meaning does that have? If that makes sense.
Definitely. So, how can you tell if someone is being sincere or if they're just saying it to get out of a bad place?
That's really hard to indicate because you never know someone um, true intentions of what they really mean as to just words. But there are some things of why we do it, and a lot of times why people say "I'm sorry" it's way too many times, and and a lot of it is I'm late, and you say "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry," and there's again that over stimulation to make themselves feel better. And we say that a lot because we're people pleasers. We have low self esteem. We are perfectionists. And when that interferes with something that we feel that we're doing wrong, we say, "I'm sorry."
Right. So, being young is always such a strange time for us, and the kids today are definitely growing up a little bit differently than we did. What do you think the most important thing for them to hear about saying positive and being kind to their peers and their elders is?
I think if you were to say, "I'm sorry," and then say why, it has a greater impact. It has more meaning. And if you sit there and you go out and you observe everyone around you, just observe how many people truly say, "I'm sorry." And then why don't you try and say, "I'm sorry," and then say why? You know, "I'm really sorry for being late to this meeting. Thank you very much for your patience and understanding." And then move on. So you said why, and people are like, "Okay, all right." And then say it with more meaning. Think about how many times you say it. And also when you keep saying I'm sorry, you give your power. You look a lot more insecure. And I'm not saying that people don't say it because they don't mean it, but I just want to make sure that people use it in the right context and say it to give more meaning. So just be more conscious of saying it and feel it and give that why so it has a more purpose and see what people's reactions are, and it makes you feel better and it makes them feel better and it gives more of a reason, and then let it go.
That I feel like that is the biggest thing is just to let it go, kind of move on. I feel like a lot of people
Hmm.
just bottle that up and hold it against other people. So,
They do.
unfortunately, time really does fly when you're having fun, and we only have a minute left of
It
the
does.
show. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we go today?
I just think that when you are going throughout your day and something happens, I want for you to think about saying "I'm sorry" before you just offer it up to someone. And it kind of goes with the same thing with thank yous. Some people just say, "Oh, thank you," and there's no meaning. "Thank you for helping me with my groceries," or "Thank you for opening the door." And it kind of goes with "I'm sorry," thank yous, and just think about your words and what you truly are trying to get across to people, because it really does define who you are and what you want to represent. And if you want to show the insecurity, the lack of confidence, then you just keep saying that. But say the "I'm sorry" or "thank you," and then give the reason why, and it will make a huge difference for not only you, but again, everyone around you. So hopefully that's a good tip for everybody today and gives you something to think about.
Definitely. Thank you so much for joining us again, Stacie. It's always such a pleasure, and I really do think we learned some valuable stuff today. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you, and have a fabulous rest of your day. And thank you for always having great interviews and having me on your Splash.